These are the faces of the future. Increasingly, schools are becoming microcosms of the multicultural nation our country is evolving into. Changing demographics in Fairfax County are creating school populations made up of children from many different ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Therefore, it is important for all students to learn to appreciate and respect various cultural backgrounds and to recognize their own heritage. Next, on Profile, we'll see how the staff, students, and parents at Little Run Elementary are working together to explore differences, discover similarities, and through understanding, achieve peace. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. That is the credo of the United States, and at Little Run Elementary School, they are working to make that motto a reality. In addition to providing programs that stimulate intellectual curiosity and academic achievement, the staff at Little Run wanted to develop a program that would develop positive personal qualities and would foster respect for individual differences. They declared the 1990-91 school year the Year of the Peace Child. During this year-long effort, the staff, students, and community have joined together to work towards peace by developing pride, understanding, and respect for each other.
The theme this year is entitled The Year of the Peace Child. The theme evolved really when our music teacher, Mrs. B. Barnett, came to me with the proposal that her chorus present the play The Peace Child. The Peace Child is a play about American and Russian children and their quest for peace. And that idea kind of evolved, I think, as most good ideas do. They just evolve. And we decided to tie in the concepts of peace with the diversity that's now at our school. And we wanted to really highlight the specialness of Little Run, and especially the international specialness, as well as the specialness of each child and each family, and help each of us to realize that we have our own unique heritage. So what we did is we tied those two concepts together into our theme. And this year we have really integrated that theme into our curriculum.
Who, by raising their hand, can tell me who's a peacemaker? Becky.
An important part of the Peace Child theme is learning how to become peacemakers. The school counselor visits every classroom, working on strategies the students can use in conflict situations.
Today in the classroom, we were doing a unit on peacemaking. I visit each classroom at Little Run, and this year the theme is Tools for Peacemakers. And I take the toolbox in, and we talk about how that's an empty toolbox and that the tools are inside them, in their heart and in their minds, and that they have choices and consequences to each choice that they choose if they use the tools that we're learning, the iMessage, the win-win guidelines. The iMessage is something that we talk about in terms of, instead of saying you caused me to feel this way, or you did this, or you're unfriendly, we talk about in terms of saying you, we say I feel hurt when you tease me. I would like you to stop. I want to be your friend. That's one of the tools that we talk about that they have inside that they can choose to use. Another tool is the win-win guidelines. And basically that's when children find themselves in a conflict. They try to work it out so that every party in the group wins in some way, so that a person is not left out. They try to compromise and make sure that if in fact they're playing a game and a certain person is feeling left out, then they choose another game or include the person.
In this second grade class, the students learned that one good way to solve problems was to discuss them with their peers. The class expanded upon that idea and created a bucket full of cares.
This year we have been working with our counselor talking about tools for peacemakers. As a continuation of this, we've made a bucket full of cares. With this, my children write down any problems or concerns that they are having either in school or out of school and put them in the bucket. Twice a week, we use this bucket and we pull from the bucket one of the problems and we discuss it as a whole group in hopes that we can help solve a problem and to let one another know that even though one child has a problem, another child can also have the same problem.
I'm having trouble with my math. I'm having trouble with my math. All right, who could help us out with that one? Miss Ware?
You should study every night you should study every day for 30 minutes.
Okay.
You can go over a friend's house, you can use your flashcards, and you can also practice.
Very good.
The students appreciated the chance to share common problems and concerns, and they learned that talking things over is often the best solution to a problem. Another part of the Peace Child theme was to explore the many different cultures that are represented at Little Run and to integrate this study throughout the curriculum. For instance, all grade levels use the general music program as the basis for a study of songs and dances from other countries.
The music and the physical education program offers an opportune environment for developing the children's skills and understanding of music, dance, literature, and the arts. We feel that folklore and cultural traditions are passed down through these mediums, and that in music and PE we can best explore those areas of cultural diversity with the children. So we have selected countries and representative music, dances from around the world. We study these and we perform these annually in school as part of our ongoing curriculum. It was an obvious connection to our Peace Child theme this year.
The theme of peace through understanding was woven into lessons throughout the school. Each grade used the theme as a starting point and adapted it to fit their curriculum. In the kindergarten classes, they used a globe to explore the idea that it is a small world after all. By learning about people from other countries, the teachers hope their students will achieve peace through understanding. The class took an imaginary trip to Saudi Arabia and learned how people can share similarities and differences.
Well, we're going to read a book again. It's called Just Like Me. We've been talking about how some children in Virginia are like some children in Saudi Arabia, haven't we? And how we're the same and how we're different. Well, these two children are twins, aren't they? And they like some of the same things and they don't like some of the same things.
What we would like the children to learn is another culture, to learn how that culture compares to ours, so that they will come away with the feeling that not everyone in the world does things exactly like they do, and that different ways can all be good.
During center activities, Saudi Arabia provided the background for various types of lessons. One group practiced math skills by sewing patterns into burlap after studying an example of Arabic weaving. Another group, working with a parent volunteer, painted a large picture of a camel and discussed what they had learned about these desert animals. A third group explored differences between maple trees and acacia trees, one of the few trees able to live in arid climates.
They both have leaves. They both have trunks. They both have branches. They both need water. There's the scientist's way of writing water. They both have roots. Those are ways that those two trees are the same. Now let's talk about ways that they are different. Tell me about the leaves. How are they different? Say that a little louder.
Shapes are different.
Shapes are different. You're right.
Throughout the classroom, the peacemaking theme was always present. Even as the students worked, the teachers used every opportunity to encourage cooperation.
And look, Tracy's going to put two of hers together, and then she's going to have one left over. What could they do about that? What could you do?
Share it.
You could share it, that's right. Do a little cooperation and make a third one.
Cooperating and working together can help students learn to accept differences in each other. For instance, the 5th and 1st graders have teamed up to promote peace, patience, and understanding by becoming buddies. The students pair up and meet for 30 minutes each week to work on various language arts projects.
The 1st and 5th graders are currently sharing a book which was chosen by the 1st graders. They will be reading the book together, and then they will go back and review the book and pick out the beginning, middle, and end of the book and write in their own words sentences about the beginning, middle, and the end.
What's the title again? Clifford's Birthday Party. Right. Who wrote the book? Mom and Durrell. Right. Did you think this book was funny? Yeah. What was the main idea of the story? Clifford's birthday party. Right.
Both classes have found this partnership to be mutually beneficial. The 1st graders have improved their reading and writing proficiency, while the 5th graders are strengthening their communication skills.
Through this program, the 1st and 5th graders have developed concern for one another, patience, understanding. Self-esteem has improved through both grade levels. They've developed some really good relationships with one another, and we're very pleased with this program.
Working together in this one-on-one situation has helped foster concern for others. These students have developed relationships that are based on trust and, in addition, have increased their self-esteem.
When they see us in the hallway, they immediately are waving to one another. Oh, that's my big buddy. Children seem to be more concerned with one another, and they're concerned with other people's feelings.
In the 3rd grade, students have combined working together with a study of cultural diversity by using cooperative work groups to examine the similarities and differences between Japan and Fairfax County. In one group, the students conducted research on different aspects of Japanese culture.
We came up with a list of questions and categories, I guess you could call it, of things they would be interested in learning about Japan. Prior to doing that, we had seen several excellent videos on life in Japan, and so this kind of sparked some interest in some things they might like to learn about. And so we gathered lots of materials and divided the children into about 5 or 6 groups. And then they researched those questions and also came up with some other information that they hadn't anticipated. And then they summarized their findings and reports and presented them to the class.
The Emperor of Japan is a symbol of the country, but he does not rule the country of Japan anymore, and he has less power than the original emperor had. The government of Japan is a constitutional monarchy. The
power of the government is actually with who, though?
The people who elect the representatives.
In another group, students studied a book that related to the peace theme.
Boys and girls, this morning we're going to share in a conference about the book we read about Sadako, the little girl born in Japan, who started this tradition of the paper cranes. This ties in so nicely with our emphasis on the Peace Child at Little Run, and also with our unit on Japan. We're going to start with Amber, who's going to tell us about the setting.
The setting takes place in Japan in
in a city called
Sadako and the Paper Cranes is the story of a little girl who contacted leukemia, which was called the atom bomb disease, and it basically tells the story of a very happy little girl whose family was very close with her, and she got leukemia and consequently died in the book. But in the book it tells about how she began to make these paper cranes, which someone had told her would bring her good health. And of course she did die. But after she died, then there was a peace memorial erected to her memory in Hiroshima.
After the funeral, the bamboo class gathered notes that she had made and published it into a book and spread it all the way around so everybody in Japan could hear of Sadako. And one day, her friends dreamed of making a memorial for Sadako and her all the kids who died from the atom bomb. And they gathered enough money, and at the memorial at the Peace Park, they made a statue of Sadako holding a golden crane, and they make a wish too. The wish is engraved on the statue. This is our cry, this is our prayer, peace in the world.
In another activity, 2 of the 3rd graders taught their classmates origami, the art of paper folding. The students made paper cranes. These cranes have become a symbol of peace to many at Little Run. Using art to enhance the curriculum is an important part of the peace theme. It is also used as a way to acknowledge the diverse community at Little Run. Through funding provided by the PTA, reproductions of paintings and prints by international artists have been purchased and are used by the art teacher as teaching tools in the classroom. Students learn about the artists, their way of life, and their style of art. In addition, there is a display set up in the lobby that features a different artist every month. The display includes information on the artist's background and native country.
Behind me, what I have are 3 reproductions done by Mexican artist Diego Rivera, and in all of these prints you see people working together, cooperating. I show the people in the land of Mexico working hard as flower vendors, and the children and I discuss that and what life must be like in Mexico. We talk about Diego Rivera's use of color, his bright, sumptuous colors against a darkened background, and then what we do is to think about then how we can incorporate cooperation that we use in our everyday school situations and to create a drawing of themselves and their classmates working together.
Art is also incorporated into the effort to create an inviting and comfortable environment at Little Run. The halls have been turned into an art gallery that features the students' works. The gallery is sponsored and maintained by PTA volunteers.
We started our gallery about 5 or 6 years ago and made a real commitment as a PTA to making this a real part of our welcoming atmosphere in the school. So we invested and committed a number of funds to this program, which we keep a high priority each year. We invest in frames, in matting, and most of all, we invest volunteer time. And we come through every month or 2 and rotate every single picture in this school. The parents frame it, they mat it, they take them down, they hang them. We felt it really set the stage when you walk into this school. It really added a warmth and friendliness, which is the style that we'd like to project here at this school. And we also have a pride in what our kids have done in the art area. And we thought this was a wonderful way for them to see what they've done and to take real pride in what they have.
The staff at Little Run feels that the appearance of the building is almost as important as what goes on in the classroom. They believe it is important to create a pleasant atmosphere where children enjoy coming to school. A large part of maintaining this comfortable environment falls to the building supervisor.
Mr. Golder Hackley, our building supervisor, is probably one of the most respected people in this building. As you walk this building, you're immediately impressed by the care that has been placed in this building. As I mentioned earlier, this building was built in 1963, And if you walked around, you would never believe that this building has not been renovated. We are up for renovation in 2 years. And I think that says a lot for Mr. Hackley. He cares about the children, he cares about the staff, he cares about this building, and he will tell you that this is family here, and that's exactly the way we feel about him.
Part of Little Run's appeal is the beautifully landscaped grounds. Trees and flowering shrubs surround the building. Many of the trees were planted during Arbor Day ceremonies. The observance of Arbor Day has long been a custom at Little Run, and this year the celebration was tied to the peace theme.
Arbor Day is a tradition at Little Run. We always have a very special program for our Arbor Day. And this year the theme is tied into Arbor Day. Our SCA, that's our Student Council, the Buildings and Grounds Committee people have been studying the trees from around the world, and they are going to present as part of the program essays and reports on trees from around the country. So that there again we have tied the theme into our Arbor Day program.
A strong young tree.
The concept of peace was frequently incorporated into the language arts program. In the second grade, students discussed differences between people and then talked about the importance of being able to live together in peace. They learned that everyone has their own distinct personality.
My students are currently involved in writing poems that center around peace. We've discussed cultural diversity in our class and basically what makes each of us special and unique.
I'm glad I'm me. No.
This is a poem that I introduced to my students. We practiced learning the poem. We talked about the different concepts of the poem. And in the poem, it talks about how each one of us is special, how no one in the world is exactly like we are.
The students also talked about what peace means to them. They explored the idea of peace through the 5 senses, what peace might taste like or sound like. Then they created a mural and wrote poems about their discoveries.
The color of peace is light pink. It sounds like birds in the sky. Tastes like blueberry pie. It smells like cherries. It looks like heaven. Peace makes me happy.
George, pay attention.
During their study of colonial history, 4th graders investigated the peace theme by studying a figure who was definitely not a peacemaker.
The children in 4th grade study colonial history. They learn about the King of England, staying in England and working with the other people in the colonies, and they've been working on peacemaking, so the children decided to write their own play and talk about the King of England, King George at the time. If he had been a peacemaker, how we in the colonies never would have broken off from England. We would still have been part of England and never become a new country. The children took a book about King George that was a very humorous book, and they read the book. And then what they did was they looked at the excerpts and decided that King George was a person who was used to getting his way and would throw little temper tantrums, and kind of put the play together in a humorous way, but to also let the people who were viewing the play know that King George was not a peacemaker.
The Revolutionary War was one of the causes of George's nightmares and sicknesses.
How could we have 5,000 troops surrender? This is awful, terrible, astonishing.
Sire, it is over.
No!
But it is over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. More soldiers, more.
You're whining.
Yes, but the thought of defeat is making me mad.
Sire, this war could be over a lot sooner if we surrender now.
No, we will win.
Jeez, he's whining. George died in 1820 at the age of 82.
The 6th grade used both a study of the past and the technology of the future to explore the Peace Child theme. In one part, the students at Little Run participated in a computer communications program called KidsNet.
My 6th grade class participated in the National Geographic's Telecommunications KidsNet unit, Hello. We had about over 13,000 other classrooms participated in this session, but we had 8 schools from all of the United States and 1 from Canada. We wrote letters to the schools and sent them through telecommunications, and we received letters back from these schools. And then we did research on pets in communities, and the children learned how to graph and interpret the data that they had received. They learned to plot using longitude and latitude on a map where their schools were located. It was really an exciting unit for the children.
Erin will now read an excerpt from our class letter, telling a little bit about our school and the 6th grade involvement of the peace process.
Students of many nationalities attend Little Run, and this means peace to our school. We believe that the people across the world should live happily together. Our beliefs have led us to be completely devoted to peace for the 1990-91 school year. We will be performing Peace Child, a play about American and Soviet children who would live their lives for world peace and finally achieve their goal. With all of our different nationalities and hopes and dreams, we have dedicated this year as the Year of the Peace Child.
A study of medieval history prompted some students to explore and research their family histories. This underlined the concept that the United States is unique among the rest of the nations in the world.
We are in Miss Barlow's 6th grade class, and in our class we have discussed how America is unique and that all of its people, excluding the American Indian, originally came from other countries. We are all part of one earth. We are the human family. Most Americans try to live in harmony just as people of the whole earth may someday live in harmony. Here is one of our stories that was researched concerning our ancestors.
My ancestors. My family is a mixture of different nationalities and cultures. Waltham is my father's name and is a very old, prominent name in both Maryland and England.
Through this peacemaking process, we realize that we are all immigrants here in the United States. And through this process of researching and writing creatively about their families, they have collected family stories about their ancestors as far back as they could trace them.
Come into my joy. Come into my pain. Come you be a friend of mine, and I'll be the same.
The activity that perhaps best embodied the idea of peace through understanding and cooperation and was the impetus for the year's theme was the Peace Child play. This musical tells the story of how American and Soviet children bring peace to the world through their friendship and partnership. The 5th and 6th grade chorus performed the musical as a highlight to the Peace Child celebration at Little Run.
Peace enough, peace enough, peace enough.
The end of the school year will not bring an end to the study of peace at Little Run Elementary. The staff hopes that these activities will serve as a foundation for students on which a lifetime of peacemaking and respect for others can be built. The students have learned that each individual has something valuable to contribute to the whole, and that more can be accomplished when people work together. They see this idea put into practice every day. The success of Little Run is based largely on the cooperation between the school and the community. A mutual respect has developed that allows the school, with the help of community volunteers, to produce successful programs like the Year of the Peace Child. It is a partnership where everyone benefits, for by educating these students to become peacemakers, Little Run Elementary is making tomorrow a better place.
I think when you look at this very honestly, you're looking at tomorrow's leaders. And that's really one of the hopes that we have for this particular program and this theme, is that if our children have truly learned their lessons and instill them in their hearts, then they'll carry them with them into their tomorrows, into the future. And as I said, they are our leaders of tomorrow. And I'll be very honest with you, if they've learned their lessons and they have carried them with them, then I feel good about tomorrow and the peace that hopefully will be there.